just on that point, what sort of separates out what will be viable and what will not be? When you're testing it, what's the information coming back that says yes or no?
Well, I guess that's completely project specific, isn't it? So depending on what target extractions we might have, as well as constraints around the project, whether they be technical or economical, that's going to determine, I suppose, what the cutoff point for a no or go is going to be. So looking at that,
Can I just jump in?
Please do.
I was just going to say, we do have some like really high level test work at this stage that we approach every project with there. And that's really a pass fail type test work program that we run through, where I suppose you could say we hit it with everything that we've got in terms of grind size and oxidative leaching. And if it works, then we say, yes, this is a potential. But at that stage, if it doesn't work, we can say, Albion's not necessarily the answer for this project. And then from there, if it is successful, then we can start to look at, how is it most successful, I suppose.
How we can optimize it to suit their needs.
And sorry, before I jumped in, that's where you were going, Rebecca, is that next, like, okay, how do you optimize it now once it's viable?
That's exactly right. So we'd start off initially with sort of very high level amenability test work leading into class 5 engineering. So what we're looking at doing here is just ascertaining, does it work? Yes, no, as well as some additional data that we would feed into that high level engineering study. So the objective here is to, as quickly as possible and with as little outlay as possible, give our potential clients an indication of whether it is going to work. So evidence the viability of it and the economics behind it, so that they can quickly and efficiently make decisions on their end about whether this is a process that's worth pursuing for them.
I might just jump in there. I mean, one of the key things I guess we always get asked is what's the sample size? And we say, oh, it's a kilogram. And for an operating site, that's nothing. But if you're developing a project, I mean, that could be $1 million worth of drilling and float work that you might need to do to get that. So I think that's the key thing when we look at that test. It gives that answer quickly for the smallest amounts of mass possible. It's a kilogram, right?
Yep. Kilogram of con, and we get a surprising amount of data from that kilogram of con. So we are sort of making best use of what is a bit of a precious resource, concentrate, particularly for greenfield sites.
Right, and that is the key, that you're testing concentrate. So this has already been refined to a point where the testing, it gives you a very clear answer. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
I want to look at it from the client's point of view. What are some of the challenges that they're encountering or that you're encountering in these conversations? Could you sort of just walk us through those?
Absolutely. So I suppose looking at it, we've got both technical and economic challenges that we'll be dealing with, and they will vary and be quite unique project to project. From a technical perspective, at the moment, what I'm seeing a lot of are a lot of complex concentrates coming through for testing. So typically concentrates that have high levels of impurities in them that make that sale to a smelter quite difficult. Either the levels are so high it's impossible to sell it, or the sale of those concentrates would attract quite a high penalty associated with their sale. So we have clients coming to us to seek a way of actually separating those impurities from the target metals of interest, and certainly the Albion process is capable of doing that. A lot of these concentrates at the moment are copper concentrates and gold concentrates that have high amounts of arsenic in them. So clients coming to us to look for a way to remove that arsenic from the economic mineral. And in the case of our process, we leach that, and it is converted to a stable species that can be directed to the tailing storage facility, whilst the target metal can then be directed to downstream processing.